Welcome to the doghouse, everybody. Hopefully, everybody having a good night tonight. We're gonna try to get through this live without any glitches and technical difficulties. You know, we're gonna talk about some of these exhausted eligibilities tonight. You know, we got quite a few too. So this goes back to what I was saying about the transfer portal and how Kirby Smart and the coaching staff gonna have to go dive pretty deep inside of the transfer portal. Like I said, we got a lot of players in it, man. You got a lot of things to talk about. We got a lot of things to get into. Ransom to Don, salute, bro. Salute to you too, bro. Yeah, so we talking about these players, not necessarily transfer portal players, but the players that have exhausted their eligibility, and the players that we probably gonna see, some of the players we'll see coming back. You know what I mean? I'm just letting the beat ride, letting the music play in the background just a little bit, just to see if I can get a couple more people off in the live. Just like an intro to the build up to get up in here and chop it up about these dogs. Hopefully everybody's having a good night once again. Like I said, it's gonna be a wonderful night tonight. Back to work Monday. I know we all hate that, but how's everybody going? We got 5 people in the live. We got 5 people in the live, man. What's going on with everybody that's in the live right now? Man. So I was looking at this thing, man, and I was like, man, I want to talk about this tonight, man, because I feel like, I always got to keep you guys updated if you're not already updated. So, I felt the need to go ahead and just put this out there. You know what I mean? Look like everything going well, no malfunctions, no technical difficulties for right now. CPU looking okay and decent right now. Yeah, hopefully everybody's getting into the holiday spirit of Christmas, Hopefully everybody doing their last couple of weeks of shopping. I gotta do better with shopping early. Sometimes I shop too late. I don't know why I always do that, but sometimes this is how it is. You know what I mean? Got the smooth music playing in the background just to bring us in. We about to land in a minute. We flying at a high altitude, but we about to land in a minute. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Let's talk about it, man, because I don't know if anybody noticed or if anybody seen the list of guys, but it feel like this is a extremely long list. I haven't even, not saying that it hasn't ever been this long of a list, but this is the first time that I've seen how deep the list is. King Brian 25, salute, bro. If you haven't seen the list, I'm gonna try to bring it up on my screen. I just been having so many different issues with this doggone thing, but I'm gonna try to bring it up on my screen for y'all to see. Let's see. Here we go. So hopefully y'all can see this good enough. Bring it out a little bit for y'all. But anyway, man, on this side here, we have the exhausted players, and then this side here, we got the players that we probably will see coming back. So from the top of the list, man, we got Xavier Truss. Xavier Truss has been a big part of our O line. Sometimes I, honestly feel like I want to grab him around his neck sometime and choke him with all of those false starts or either, them holding calls Xavier Truss been getting. But his eligibility is exhausted. So then we move on to Dan Jackson. I've been talking about Dan Jackson and how well he's played for the Georgia Bulldogs. You know, that hard hitting beast that he is back there as the safety, and you know, his eligibility has also been exhausted, and you know we probably won't be seeing him again. You know, but shout out to him. Then you got the outside linebacker that we don't talk about as much, and that's Chaz Chamberlain. You know, I think that a lot of times, you know, we focus more so on the inside linebackers, and a lot of times, you know, the corners and the safeties. But Chaz Chamberlain has played a major part on that edge. Then we got inside linebacker, which most of us probably already knew about. Smile London, you know, he you know came off an injury later on this season, and wasn't much of an impact player this season, you know, but he did bring, you know, an added addition back to the linebacker core. Then you got defensive tackle Warren Brinson. Um, Warren Brinson is another one of those guys, man. Another one of those senior guys that, you know, those interior guys that we feel like, well, that I feel like we need. And then you got Nazir Stackhouse. He's another guy, you know, interior guy. And those two guys are partially the reason why we were trying to keep Justice Terry at Georgia, because, you know, the rest of the guys, the newer guys, you know, they're gonna need some type of leadership when it comes to, you know, that interior, and we need some big body guys in that interior. So, you know, this is the reason why I feel as if we're gonna hit that portal very hard when it comes to the defense side of the ball. And then you got wide receiver Kobe Young. I did not know that he was his eligibility was exhausted, but that's what they saying. They saying Dominic Lovett. I don't know about Dominic Lovett. I don't know why they got Dominic Lovett in there. I didn't. Well, Dominic might be a senior. I don't know. Um, and then we got, you know, the tight end Benjamin Yorsick. You know, he was doing fairly good this season. Like we, you know, he kind of almost gave me that Brock Bowers feel. You know, I didn't know much about him when we was seeing him later on in the season. Started seeing sparks of him. Did not know much about him. Did not know anything about him. Actually, you know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. But he's you know, he stepped up for us a lot this season. You know, so he's definitely going to be gone, you know. So then you look on the right hand side, then you got the quarterback. Of course, Carson Beck is eligible. Arian Smith eligible. Offensive guard Tate Rowledge. Offensive guard Dylan Fairchild. Offensive guard Makai Morris. Center Jared Wilson. Defense and defensive end Tyron Ingram Dawkins. You know, running back Trevor Etienne. Tight end Oscar Deltwhite. Wide receiver Dylan Bell. Defense Avin, Michael Williams, linebacker Jaylen Walker, cornerback Dalen Everett, safety Malachi Starks, and punter Brett Thorson. So, you know, we got a lot of diving into the portal, man. We got a lot of work to do. We all know Kirby Smart, know what time it is with that. You know what I mean? We just got a lot of work to do, man. Shout out to everybody that jumped in the live. You know what I mean? You got RDB and Tay. You know what I mean? RDB said, "Evening, everyone." Tay said, "I seen something earlier about Carson considering coming back." Yeah, man. I think Carson possibly could be considering coming back. You know what I mean? And I say that just due to the fact that, you know, he hasn't played his best football this season, and I'm sure that he probably would want to come back and show that he can be the guy for the team. And with that experience, that's my thing. You know, I wouldn't mind Carson Beck coming back, just show us the experience that he actually have. And show us the type of quarterback that he could be. We saw it in 2023, but we thought we saw see more of it at a higher level this season. And due to a lot of things, due to Carson being trying to force, you know, things and trying to fill some big shoes, and also not having the type of high powered or caliber wide receivers, it didn't give him enough, you know, to be able to do the things that he probably wanted to do. Like, it was a lot of things. Tay, if Carson come back, I believe we will lose Gunner. If Carson come back, I believe we will lose Gunner. No, I don't think we would lose Gunner. I don't think we would. It's a possibility though. It's a possibility that we may lose a couple of players if Carson comes back. You know, I guess that's the bad thing about it is the fact that we got to make sure that we making all the right choices when it comes to the quarterback position. I think even if Carson does leave and Gunner stays, we may have a guy like Jaden Rashada that may enter the transfer portal, because he's not getting his shot at the end of the day. It wouldn't even necessarily be a fight if Gunner Stockton was to do good in the playoffs and win us a national championship. It wouldn't even be a fight. We would already know who our guy would be. So with that being said, you know, we pretty much would probably expect somebody. I mean, you always got to expect somebody to go into the transfer portal, especially the quarterbacks, especially a guy like Jaden Rashada. That's a 5-star quarterback coming into college football. Big arm. Got a little legs. Pretty talented, pretty accurate. You got to expect those type of guys to go into the transfer portal if they don't get their shot. It's only you can only sit behind these quarterbacks, especially if you are considered a better quarterback. In a sense, you could always expect the quarterback to go head on and move forward. What I mean? That's what I expect anyway. OJ Winston said, "I think Carson's ceiling isn't that high." I mean, who knows, man? I think Carson's ceiling is as high as any other quarterback ceiling. The only thing that Carson doesn't have over a lot of these quarterbacks is his legs. And a lot of quarterbacks nowadays are using their legs in order to open it up downfield. Get a couple of yards, closer to your destination. I think that's what Carson is missing, and I think that's the only thing Carson is missing. I don't think Carson is missing anything when it comes to his throwing ability his playmaking ability downfield. I don't think Carson is lacking that. I think yeah, true enough, we have seen a lot of um, situations where Carson was trying to force it, and those last like 3 to 4 games, and where he threw multiple interceptions. But I don't think I don't think we need to hang that over his head, man, because Carson has done some good things. I think people forget about the 23 season. You know what I mean? I think people tend to forget about that, and I'm like, don't forget about that because in the 23 season, Carson was throwing bombs every which way around the field, But people tend to forget about that due to what he has done this season, and I don't think we should do that. But I get it. Everybody got their own opinion about Carson Beck. I feel y'all on however you feel. Even I'm guilty of it when I started noticing, the him forcing the ball downfield and just throwing it in double coverage in multiple games. I eventually, started noticing it also. And I felt similar to how y'all feel, but at the end of the day, I had to sit back and really analyze the quarterback, and had to analyze that even in the NFL, if you don't have anybody to throw it to, your stats are not going to be high and you're not going to look like one of the best. Now, I'm not saying that you as a quarterback that they should be throwing in double coverage and things like that, but at the end of the day, I know that a lot of times even in the NFL, a lot of players don't play up to their best ability, especially due to the talent they have or due to, the type of playmakers or if they have playmakers, you know what I mean? So Tay said, "How you feel about the guy from K State we landed earlier? I seen from a dog recruiting page. I haven't seen it, man. You gotta let me know who the player is, man, so I can dive into him and look into him. I haven't seen anybody that that we have that committed, not committed, but transferred into Georgia. I see all of the players that's going into the transfer portal, but I hadn't seen anybody that's actually said that they're top school that they'll be going to is Georgia. A lot, like I say, a lot of players that from all over is going into the transfer portal. So we got plenty of time to pick up somebody, and I believe that we will. I just think that we're taking time to actually see, who's gonna fit. And all of these guys that's leaving, like you got so many guys leaving added with the guys that's going into the transfer portal. So we got to figure out um, what guy is gonna fit in that role and fill that void. Which guy? I think Curry and everybody at the UGA are trying to figure out who fits the spot the best. Like who's going to be that guy. you don't want to just grab guys out of the transfer portal. I'll just say that we've done grab guys out of the transfer portal, and it seemed like every time we have grab guys out of the transfer portal, they always end up in some legal situations or can't get it right academically or whatever the case may be. But it's about time for us to start really getting some guys that we feel like is going to fit over here at Georgia and it's going to be there to stay. And I think that may be what's taking so long. Like I say, with the added guys that's already entering the transfer portal from Georgia, and on top of the guys that's eligibility is exhausted, it's going to take us some time. You have to look at it like that. We just can't just be grabbing guys because everybody that goes in the transfer portal is not good. Just because they enter their name does not mean that Georgia feels like let's go grab him. Just because I had some guy telling me about a 6'6" player from Missouri or whatever, the edge guy from Missouri came over to South Carolina, and he was bragging so heavy about that. But I also, just like I told him, also like, look, man, just because you get a transfer doesn't mean that he's gonna fit for the program. Doesn't mean he's gonna be a complete asset or a dominant asset for the program. So we got to just see what they do on field. We can't judge just based on what you've seen him do at another. Because even with Dominic Lovett, like I could say that even with Dominic Lovett, like he was a big time asset to Missouri's offense. But then when he came over to Georgia, he had to kind of fit in. He had to kind of figure his way, and he's doing good at Georgia also, but at the same time, I don't think he's doing better than what he did at Missouri. He was the leading receiver over at Missouri. So at the end of the day, like I say, man, it just all depends. Tay said his name, Jace Brown. I believe he's a sophomore right now. Okay, I'll check him out, man. I'll check him out, Tay, and just to see what he got to offer. And like I said, I haven't heard anything yet about Georgia landing anybody, but if we do land this guy, and we basically need somebody at this point. I mean, we got plenty of time. Like I say, we got plenty of time to get some guys in. The transfer portal is just wide open at this point. You got a lot of players that haven't even chosen what school that they'll go to or transfer to yet. So you got a few players that have, but you got a whole lot of players that haven't. So it's a lot of guys out there that we can we can go through to see what we want and see what fit at UGA. But outside of that, it is what it is. We'll get somebody. We'll get some people. I think right now, Kirby Smart is mainly focusing on the playoffs and trying to get through whoever we play in the playoffs. I think that's his biggest focus. Of course, he got a lot of things on his plate. Like, don't get me wrong. Um, we know, of course, that you're gonna have the recruitment team trying to figure out, who's who and what we need to add to, and to keep us a dominant program. But at the same time, I know he got a lot of man. The dude got a tough job to do. Like, honestly, Kirby Smart got a tough job to do. I believe he's trying to hold up a standard as well as bring on players that wanna buy into the standard at Georgia. So he got a lot of work to do, man, and he got a big job to do. So I don't think that we should, like I said in the last live, really overreact on these. We got to get through this season first. We'll get some guys in the transfer portal, and have them ready next season. So I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that will be a problem. But I think we are seeing something in the defense that can really hurt us. And when I say that, I mean the interior guys. So hopefully we definitely are looking for those big interior guys to hold it down in that front seven, man, on that defensive line, because that's the I think that may be our biggest issue if we don't get those type of guys, because you seen how these peon teams was able to run on Georgia. You seen how UMass was able to run on Georgia, like so at the end of the day, we need some guys that can step it up, and some big physical guys that can hold that line down, and keep these guys from running, because I think that's one of our biggest tasks, have been one of our biggest tasks of the season, is having a guy that can actually or stopping the run, whether they going up the middle or on the outside. It used to be just the quarterback run, but I seen this season has been, no matter who's running, we having a tough time with them. Dudes have been running on Georgia this season like crazy, and we've done well. We've stopped. We've done well as far as stopping putting the offense in good positions and things like that. But at the end of the day, we definitely took a drop off, when it comes to the defense. And I trust that Kirby Smart is going to build it back up. I just trust that he's going to do so. Just looking at prior years, you have to include that those prior years to be like, okay, well, this did happen once before. We just didn't really notice it as much, you know. Let me get in the chat a little bit. Tay said, "How you feel about?" Okay, we seen it. He said, his name. Okay, I saw that. Our D line pretty stacked. I believe Chris Miller will be back. Plus Jordan Hall. Yeah, Elijah Griffin looks like he's ready right now. Yeah, that's why I say, man, we're gonna have to use some of these new guys. Of course, on defense, Kirby is gonna use some of these new guys. Pretty much rotate them in. You know what I mean? So of course that's gonna happen. Like I'm not expecting to see a lot of these newer guys like Elijah Griffin get in and see what he can do. I just hope the same thing happens as far as the offense. But like I always say with the offense, you don't have to actually have like a extremely high powered offense. You just need an offense that can move the ball. I think that's the main thing with Georgia and with any team. Like, long as you got a offense that can actually move the ball, the offense is not a big deal. But you gotta make sure that your defense is stacked, racked, and packed full of impactful players. I think that's the big thing, and I think, like I said before in previous lives, that I think that's what Kirby is more so. Um, I think that's what he's trying to do. I think that's where his mindset is. He is a defensive coach, so of course, that's where his mindset is on. You know. Have anybody heard anything else going on with the dogs? I haven't heard anything yet. Um, it just my opinion is about this whole situation with transfers and all this. Like I said before, I think that Kirby and the coaching staff is really just trying to figure out what are they going to do when it comes to, getting Gunner ready and winning out this season. You know what I mean, and getting to that national championship. I think that's what's on his mind the most at as if right now. I don't think the transfer portal, because you got other guys for that, so he don't have to. They of course he got the last say, but he got other people for that, man. So Kirby Smart is not the only person on the coaching staff. Obviously, he got the recruiters and things like that that's going out looking at players. And like I said, I think they're trying to just plug and play, but they being careful when it comes to that because this is a defensive mind type of team. You have to have the right type of players for each position on the defense. So I don't think it's a situation where you just want to go in the transfer portal and just because he's a big guy, pull him. He's a big guy, pull him. Nah, because 9 times out of 10, there are more players that didn't get any playing time getting into the going into the transfer portal versus players that's already been on field. Because obviously, if you're on the field, you're not gonna transfer unless you just figure, oh, I want a bigger bag. Unless you like a Bear Alexander type of guy that feel like, oh, I want to go somewhere with a bigger bag, and then you'll end up going there and end up transferring from out of there the next season, just like he's doing right now. You know. King Brian say I have no worries about the defense next season. Um, uh, I don't think I have worries about the defense either, King Brian. I just wanna get through this season first. And like the off season is probably where we're gonna hear all of. I'm willing to bet you in the off season is probably where we're gonna hear the most about transfers coming into Georgia. Right now it's early. It's gonna be a lot of players. That's why Kirby Smart didn't grab somebody so early because it's gonna be a lot of players that's gonna in the spring on the off season that's going to eventually go into the transfer portal, and we eventually going to get the right type of players. I think they just trying to strategize for the most part, and that's smart. That's a smart thing to do. The smartest thing to do is to strategize before you go pick up anything. I think a lot of us as fans do not realize that because we're not coaches. But when you sit back and analyze it like I do and be like, wait a minute, I think it's more to the formula than just sitting there saying, oh, let me pick that guy, let me get that guy, let me get that. No, 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 no. It's more to it than that. So at the end of the day, I think we have to look at it in that sense to say, hey, man, it's guys out there in the transfer portal, but let's wait this thing out because more guys is going to go in the off season. So let's wait this thing out. Let's make sure that the guys that's coming that enter their name from other programs, let's make sure that they'll be a good fit for the position, or fill the void for the position that we need them to fill the void for. Tay said, when does the transfer portal closes? I know it's the spring. More one also. Well, you said I know it's the spring one also. King Brian, right now Kirby is focused on the playoffs. Yeah, 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 yeah. Kirby Smart is definitely focused on the playoffs. That's just my opinion on what's going on. He's focused on Shabazz. What's up, man? Yeah, he said, "Yo, I almost missed my show, man. Look, man, we in here, man. We in here. We got 26 people watching the live. We got a few people in the chat. The main people that's in the chat. I appreciate everybody that came out, whoever watching, and then the people also that's in the chat. I appreciate everybody. But yeah, we talking about the exhausted players, man. Exhausted eligibility players. And we got a few of them. But yeah, right, King Brian. Kirby Smart is focused on the playoffs right now because this is what we need to be doing right now. Every other team that you see, like I know a lot of us that follow what's going on, right? We be like, damn, they landed this player. Damn, he landed that. This team landed that. But when you think about it, all of the teams that's landing players is not in the playoffs right now. Some of them, but for the most part, teams that are landing these guys that enter the transfer portal, they're trying to build their team up to be in the playoffs. So of course they're gonna be grabbing a bunch of different guys. Just like I said, the guy that was telling me about South Carolina and how we just grabbed this 6'6" edge type of guy, whatever, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, but y'all not in the playoffs, so of course y'all gonna be trying to build up as much as possible. But right now, Kirby don't have to worry about the transfer portal as much. He has to worry about what's going on in this playoffs and what do we need to do with having a backup quarterback step in to win this playoff game for us. That's what Kirby is worried about for the most part. That's why I say we don't need to be so hyped up about the transfer portal right now. Like we have time. And Tay said, when does it closes? I'm not sure, Tay, when it closes. I'm not sure when it closes, but at the same time, like I said, we have time, man. You're gonna see a lot of guys. You're gonna see a transition and a difference in the spring. I think that's gonna give us that's gonna tell it all in the spring. We got to get those guys, and we got to get Malachi Starks. Well, not Malachi Starks because he'll be leaving. And I don't think the exhausted eligibility is a guarantee for some guys. But for the most part, the senior guys, I think, yeah, they'll be out of here, man. We got a lot of them going, but we had, like I said, we've seen this already. We've seen this already where we had tons of defensive players that went into the draft, and we had to reload. Thankfully we had other 5-star guys back then. That's why we recruit so high at a high level when it comes to the defense, because we know we're gonna have to constantly replace guys, and we're gonna have to constantly rotate guys. So with that being said, this is what we need to be thinking about for the most part. What are we doing to get Gunner ready for this playoff? That's if he has that mindset, we need to have that mindset. What do we need to do to prepare for this playoff game? Shabazz said, we not worried about the portal. We trying to get Gunner right for the season round game. For the second round game against Notre Dame. Yeah, yeah. That's what we worried about, man. That's the only thing to worry about right now. The transfer portal, I mean, it'll be there. These a lot of these players ain't loyal to whatever team. They and it's crazy because a lot of times the NIL make it hard for a lot of players to stay committed. But and also players is trying to go where the winning team is. You know what I'm saying? They going for the bag and they going to where the winning team is. And Georgia is a winning team. Georgia will continue to build and become the winning team, especially having this mindset to say, I ain't worried about the portal right now. Let's continue to worry about our path to this national championship because that's what matters the most. Because the more championships you get, and the closer you get to championships each year, it will make teams want to come to a program. And the guys that goes in, hey man, the guys that enter their name that we've been seeing, like we've only seen like maybe 4 guys, maybe 5 guys, and those guys are not starters. Those guys are trying to find their way, and they're trying to, get the playing time they feel like they need. And hey, we had what 1 5 star out of all of those guys. Hey, go where you know you're gonna get some playing time. The portal taketh and it giveth. Sacred Grove, what's going on with you? You just dropped off in the live. You know, hey man, look, the portal will be there. We ain't worried about no portal. We know what's going on right now. That's not our main focus. I think that's the main focus for college football because as a whole, you're not gonna you need to build up. This is the build up part. This is the reloading stage at this time of the year, right? So of course you're gonna see a lot of portal action, a lot of portal talk, and that's what's going on the internet. Period. There's really nothing more going on when it comes to the dogs or anybody right now in the playoffs. The portal is just going so crazy right now because that's the biggest buzz right now is the portal. So it is what it is. I just came to an agreement with myself to say, look, man, I've seen this before. I've seen this before at Georgia. Like, hey, this is going to happen where you're going to have a lot of players enter their names, and you're going to have a lot of players that may come to Georgia, or some that you may want to come to Georgia that won't come to Georgia, like Eric Singleton Jr., which we already speculated and suspected that he probably wasn't going to come to Georgia. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like a big damn. It was like okay, we saw that coming. You know, it was more so like that. Sacred Grove said this ain't new for Kirby. Yeah, especially being the top dogs in SEC or college football period, especially being one of the top dogs, you have to expect these things to happen. You have to expect guys because when you're reloading and you getting those top guys coming to the college, coming to your program or coming to your team, you have to realize that, hey man, I got to figure out a way to get these guys playing, but I got to also make sure that I'm playing the guys that's doing the best, or make sure I'm giving the playing time to the best guys that give us the best chance. And I think that's what every coach, that's what Steve Sarkisian is going to start realizing also, that hey, I'm over in the SEC. I'm getting some good guys and getting some top recruits, but at the end of the day, I gotta expect some of these guys to go ahead and transfer because they're not gonna get the playing time that they expect. If you have a dominant defense or a dominant offense or a dominant team, period, if you have high powered, if you have highly recruited guys on either side of the ball, you have to expect if they don't get the playing time, and they don't see the field enough, they're gonna leave. You have to expect that. I truly do expect it. I started seeing it recently since we became the type of dogs, 2021, 2022. Once those 2 years hit, that's when I noticed, okay, we got a lot of high powered and highly recruited guys, and we're not going to be able to keep all of them. And we didn't. We eventually didn't, but we had to do it. And if they do choose to leave, like the guys that we see now, when we see them leave, hey, don't look at it as a bad thing unless they was on the field. If they're on the field and they're starting and they made a big impact on our defense, then you got something to slightly worry about, But until then, no, it's nothing too much to worry about right now. Most of the guys are just trying to find their way, trying to find some playing time. Um, you know, so that with that being said, I think Georgia will continue to rebuild and reload on that defense. That's not going to change. Will we drop off from time to time? Yeah, we probably will. We probably will, but we have to expect that. We can't continue to be so spoiled into thinking that we're going to have this incredible defense every single year. that long as we have a tight and impactful defense, and then we good, or a talented and never lay down type of defense, resilient defense. Long as we have defenses like that, I don't have a problem with what's going on as far as transfer portal or people entering the NFL draft. I don't have a problem with it at all. Um, yeah, I don't have a problem with it at all, man. Shabazz said Texas has to wait because Georgia is the new standard, and it's not Texas time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, man, Steve Sarkisian gonna soon see, how tough it is to play in the SEC. I don't think he knows right now. I know he's aware of it. Obviously, he's a coach, so obviously he's aware of, how hard it is to win in the SEC and how hard it is to continue to win in the SEC. And he will see that, his time is coming to see. They did damn good coming into the SEC this season. Um, Definitely better than Oklahoma, but at the end of the day, he's gonna start noticing it as well. The NIL did even the playing field, and Texas has a lot of money. Uh, Texas have a lot of money, so of course, Texas is going to get some big names. But he soon will see how things works in the SEC, and it's not always about those 5 stars that you get, because long as you got an experienced guy, he can match up with a 5-star guy all day. But he will see once he keep running into Georgia again, and also Alabama, because we can't rule Alabama out right now. Alabama had a different season than what we normally see from Alabama, but we can't completely count them out, and we don't want to count them out because we need competition in the SEC. We don't need teams feeling like, oh, the SEC is not the same like they did this year, because they instantly jumped on our case, because we weren't playing to our level. We weren't playing to our standard this season, and they instantly started talking crazy. Like every other conference, even ESPN, it's like, look, man, we had a slight off season this season. Like, we were a little off. Alabama, Georgia, we were a little off, man. Give us a break. You know what I mean? Because we will reload and come back, and then y'all will be crying again, hollering about, oh, Georgia and Alabama is always in the SEC championship or always in the playoffs. Eventually, you guys will be crying once again, you know, just like Texas did, just like Oklahoma did. That's why they're in the SEC right now, you know. And that's why all of these unnamed or teams, or none of these, all these off-brand teams are in the playoffs right now, because of the simple fact that everybody has been crying about, oh, Georgia and Alabama always get into the playoffs. They always play for a national. We need a chance. We need a chance. We were undefeated. I remember that one year Cincinnati was doing all that crying. And they did go undefeated, you know what I mean? And until they ran into Georgia. But, I just feel like, listen, man, everybody knows about the SEC. So all of the complaining you do, you can complain all day until you run into an SEC team like Georgia or Alabama. I can't speak on any way. I could probably maybe throw Tennessee in there. But right now, man, we all know that Georgia and Alabama is the standard in college football, period. Then that's just what it is. I know a lot of Georgia fans probably don't like me speaking on Alabama, but it is what it is. Alabama just had an off season this season. I think that they will bounce back in a sense. If not, it is what it is too, because I'm not a Bama fan, but I don't count teams out. I don't care. I don't count them out. Now we know that Alabama don't have Nick Saban, so we can't guarantee that next season that they're going to be any better than this season. We can't guarantee that. They don't have Nick Saban anymore, so they gonna have to start rebuilding at a higher level than what they did, what they doing now. So that's just what it is at the end of the day. Winston Relaford, do you like the fact that Georgia and Texas is automatic rivalry? Is an automatic rivalry. Um, Me personally, my personal opinion is that Texas is not a rival team right now. That's just my opinion. Until we go back and forth, then in my opinion, we're not a rival. They're not a rival team. Um, I don't think any team is a rival team when it comes to Georgia at this point. Georgia got more wins over majority of the teams that we've played, so I don't see us having a rival. I think Alabama at this point is probably our biggest rival. Even when we play Tennessee and Florida, like we have dominated them for for the past few years. So I don't consider none of those guys being real rivals. I think my definition of a rival is if you win a couple of years. Well, you win like one year, then they turn around and win the next year, then you turn around and win the next year. That's what I really consider a rival. That's just my opinion on it. But Texas being a rival, I mean, if that's what they want to call it, it is what it is. But we 2-0 right now. They're 0-2 right now. So what are they going to say when we end up playing them next year and beating them next year? Are we still going to be rivals, or are we just going to be up in the rivalry? Because me personally, like I said, if you're not a team that's going, I think because Texas looked good against Georgia, people's gonna say, "Oh, that's gonna be Georgia's rival." But nah, nah. If we continue to whoop on Texas, I will look at them just the way I look at Florida and Tennessee. You know what I mean? Even though each year they do look better. Each year they do look better. Let's be honest. Each year Texas and Tennessee does recruit good, and they start looking better, and they start getting put in better positions each year. But each year we still tend to, keep our foot on their necks, and that's what I expect us to do. King Ron said, "Have you heard about the Bama quarterback that's visiting Georgia next week?" Yeah, I did see that. I did see it. I actually seen it before this live, and I don't know what to expect from that. I really don't know what to expect for that. I don't know if Kirby. I don't know if Kirby want that type of smoke in the quarterback room. I'm not even gonna lie. I just don't know if he want that type of smoke, man. Because if you bring in a quarterback right now into Georgia, man, it's gonna be some serious tension. I don't care what we see in the games where they talk to each other and smile and laugh and hug each other. At the end of the day, these are competitors, regardless if they're on the same team or not. They are competing for a spot, and they want that spot and they want that shot. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a dogfight. I always say it's going to be a big time dogfight in that quarterback room. I wish we could see the dogfight, man, because we only see the spring game. I would love to see them competing for that spot, man, because I know it's going to be some talent out there. It's so much talent out there, and with us finally engaging in that quarterback run wave, and having a dual threat quarterback, with us finally coming to an agreement that yes, we need a dual threat quarterback. Man, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen, man, because it's gonna be crazy, y'all. I'm telling you. Like I said, and I'm gonna keep reiterating it. Obviously, if Gunner does well in the playoff and get us to a national championship, obviously he's done guaranteed his spot at the quarterback position. But at the same time, it's gonna be a massive dogfight, y'all. I'm telling you. Uh, let's see in the chat. I think somebody is planning to transfer in the quarterback room. That may be so, King Brian. Kirby just covers all the bases with the players visiting. We got three quarterbacks in Beck, Gunner, and Rashada. We got the three quarterback in Beck. I don't know what you mean by that, Shabazz. Yeah, then we got the new guy that just transferred from Boise State. Well, not transferred, but decommitted from Boise State, and Hazika Millender. So Hazika Millender is to be talked about also. I think we get into the point where we feel as if the guy isn't a 5 star, or if the guy isn't talked about widely, that we don't speak about certain guys like Hazika Millender. But Hazika Millender looks pretty good on film, and maybe just maybe he could be the guy for Georgia. But I think we forget about him too. Um, of course, he's just coming in, so it'll be between him Hezeka and Ryan Montgomery. I guess it would be between those two guys. They will be more so in battle to get a spot at Georgia. But for right now, true enough, yeah, it's Beck, Gunner, and Rashada for right now. Yeah, Ryan Puglisi is last. I know somebody didn't want me to put Ryan Puglisi behind Jada Rashada, but you got to understand Jada Rashada has more playing time than anybody in the quarterback room outside of Beck right now. So we got to put Puglisi last. You know, he is the last one. He's the one. Even though Jada Rashada came in last, he was already in college football before Ryan Puglisi. So we gotta, speak that truth, And at the same time, we have to speak truth that Jaden Rashada, to me, in my opinion, is the best thrower in the whole room, in the whole quarterback room right now. If you go look at the tape, if you go look at the film, go look at his highlights. Hey man, Jada Rashada has a lethal arm. He's a definitely is a deep threat when it comes to the quarterbacks. I would love to see him play for Georgia, honestly. But it's up to what it's up to Gunner, man. The ball is in Gunner's court right now. So it's either he's gonna slam dunk it, or either he gonna miss the shot and give it up to Jaden. You know. All right, Shabazz said if we win the Natty, Beck is gone. I was saying we don't need no more quarterbacks. We got back Gunner and Poliski and the dude Jada. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see what you're saying, brother. All right, we all know that Kirby will play who he feels is best for the job from versus Fields. Yeah, I mean we know that, but again, Winston, man, you have to realize too that Kirby did not make the best decision in that situation when he chose from. Like if you look at it from a look at the bigger picture. If we would have started Fields over from, I think we probably would have got a little further that season. At the time, it didn't seem like Fields was the guy. He was always in Wildcat. He didn't get a lot, but you had to build something around Justin Fields, and we didn't have that. You see what he was able to do once he went to Ohio State. So like at the end of the day, I still feel like he didn't make the best choice, but hey man, I'm not a coach. I can't say I'm not a coach, but I still feel like he should have went with Justin Fields, gave Justin Fields a little more time to develop because Justin Fields didn't look no worse than Dewan Mathis did. So I think that he probably should have gave, but when it comes to the best guy for the job, giving us the best chance, I put it in the coach's hands. So whether I think it's the better choice or not, I'm still gonna roll with whatever my dog's rolling with. I'm gonna roll with it, you know. And that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. We gotta put faith in the coaching staff. The coaching staff ain't let us down yet. We haven't seen anything to say, damn, other programs have. So I understand why they question their coaching because they've gotten to the point where they probably wanted to be and never got over the hump. So or it's trying to consistently year to year like Tennessee trying to recruit like Tennessee recruit at a high level. They just can't get past Georgia. They get close, but they never Florida the same. Like they recruit at a high level, just can't beat Georgia. You know, um, so it is what it is. I think when it comes to that, then yeah, those fan bases should be questioning their coaching staff. But for us, we shouldn't necessarily question them as much, because obviously we're human. We're gonna have questions, but we shouldn't really question them as much, especially when we're consistently playing for a SEC championship. We're consistently playing in the playoffs. We may not play one year and then come back next. So we got to understand that we don't have a real dog in the fight. We just got to sit back and let things play out. Give our opinions, but sit back and let things play out because we know that we can guarantee that our coaches and Kirby Smart is definitely going to make the best decision or try to make the best decisions. All right. I agree with you. And Kirby and his staff is definitely giving us a reason to always believe their decision. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You said it perfectly. They giving us the reason to always believe in their decisions just based on what we've seen the last few years from Kirby Smart and the coaches that he has over at UGA. We have no reason to question much. Like we have no real reason. Like yeah, it's going to be certain things that we're gonna be like, well, why are they doing this or why are they doing that? But when you do question it, you have to come back and say, well, I'm sure it's a real good reason why this didn't happen, right? Shabazz Ali said Kentucky also they got our QB and linebacker and still lost to Georgia. Kentucky will always be Georgia whipping boy. Yeah, whipping boy. Yeah, man. Like I said, man. If anybody want to question coaches, these other teams, these other fan bases from other teams, they should be questioning their coaches, right? Like you said, um, you got Brock Vandegrift that went over to Kentucky, and you got Jamon Dumas, and we still turned around and kicked their asses. Now I'm willing to bet that the coaching staff over there was looking crazy. It wasn't a big blowout. Of course, it was we won by 1 point. And we always seem to do that whenever we go to Kentucky. I don't know why it is. We always seem like we always is neck and neck, or it comes down to the wire. I don't know why it's like that. But at the end of the day, we still pull off the win. I'm sure, regardless of how close. I don't care how close the game is. If we consistently pulling out the win, that's really what matters. I don't care how close these games are. And there's a lot of teams like Texas, and it's a lot of teams that'll be like, well, we stuck in there, and we made it a close game. We competed with Georgia, so that says a lot about us. But it doesn't say a lot about you guys when you lose, because you consistently lose. So not necessarily Texas, but how many teams get beat by the same team in the same year, back to back? Not back to back, but twice. So like at the end of the day, it doesn't say a lot about you as much. It doesn't say too much. Because I was talking to one of my guys, man, that I used to talk to about football a lot, and we were talking about. I think it was the year. What's his name, man? The quarterback for Tennessee. I can't remember his name. It was Beck's. I think Carson's last year. I can't remember dude name, man. Um, Good quarterback, real good quarterback, and use his legs and throw. Somebody let me know down in the chat. I'll be forgetting. My mind be going blank. But anyway, before before that season that he got his start, I saw Tennessee's development. I said, wow, Tennessee is gonna be good next season. It was the same season where Stetson ran for the touchdown, and he was like, call me, call me. It was that same season that they got better, but the season prior I was already noticing how better they were. So coming into that next season, I'm like, man, like they gonna put up a fight, and they still did put up a fight, but we still did pull off the win. So at the end of the day, you can get better and better and better and better, but you still got to come through UGA. That's just what it is, man. At the end of the day, and teams get mad when I say that. Fans get mad when I say that, but it's the truth. You still got to come through UGA, and that's just what it is. And Alabama. That's why I don't want Alabama to fall off too far, because we need somebody in the SEC to keep the standard going for the SEC as a whole. Uh, what's his name? Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker. Tay was already on it. Hendon Hooker. Yeah, he went that first when Hendon Hooker got his first start. And I saw. I think it was we played them when they were in black. They was in black and orange, and I said, "Oh, boy, next year, boy, Tennessee gonna be crazy next year. Like them boys is looking good. We still beat them that year too, But then when we came back that next season, and I think the end of score was like 13-27, but they had the potential. They had all the potential. We still just ended up pulling the win off. We had an incredible defense, obviously. So, but teams like that, teams like Tennessee, teams like Florida that be trying to step it up. Like I say, you still got to get over that Georgia hump. And at the end of the day, you can rebuild and reload as much as possible, but you still don't have Kirby Smart as your head coach at the end of the day. So it's going to be hard to win. It's going to be hard. Tell Tennessee this ain't 1991. Tay said, yeah, Hunker and Hyatt was nearly what was nasty, especially the Bama game was wild. Yeah. Shabazz said Kangaroo Black said it first on his show that Alabama's in trouble because they losing players because of the coach and Milrow. Yep, Alabama is in trouble. I think so. We have to see what's going to happen next season. I'm so used to the camaraderie with Georgia and Alabama. I kind of don't want them to fall off. It's crazy because I'm such a competitor. I have a competitive spirit. So even though a lot of Georgia fans might love to see Alabama fall off, I don't necessarily like to see them fall off because I feel like I want that competition. I want to continue that camaraderie and that competition in the SEC because we don't, like I say earlier, we don't need these other conferences talking crazy about Georgia and I told y'all the SEC ain't all of that and this, that, and the third. Or we don't need that, man. We need to keep the standard, for the SEC. We need to keep this standard, and Georgia and Alabama has been the standard. But if Georgia continues to, be great and and stay on top, we will continue to be the standard. Right now, I feel like Georgia is the standard. Don't look at that loss against Bama and the loss against Ole Miss as a big time thing. Like, it is what it is. Team's gonna take a loss. Just because you take a loss don't mean you're not the standard. Now, when you start taking multiple losses throughout your regular season, like multiple teams, no matter, that's when it's like, okay, we can't consider us being the standard. RDB said you want competition to keep the SEC at the high standard, not slack off. Yeah, we don't want our conference to slack off. We don't want that. We want to continue our conference to be the hardest conference, to be the toughest conference. And if you got teams like Alabama and Georgia falling short, eventually we won't be, the standard in the SEC. Eventually the SEC won't be the standard. Eventually we're going to start seeing these off-brand teams get into the playoffs, play for nationals while we sit back like, damn, if we would have just got right and if Alabama would have just got right, if Georgia would have. So we don't want to see that. Who wants to see teams like Boise State and Indiana in the national championship? Nobody wants to watch that. They're going to have some of the lowest ratings if nobody from the SEC gets in. That's just what it is. They're going to have some of the low. Your ratings go skyrocket. It goes through the roof whenever you have guys like that got teams from the SEC in. It goes through the roof. So, it is what it is at this point. We want everybody in our conference to be good. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. How can we be the best if we haven't played some of the best teams? Like, how can we consider ourselves the best? I think we've proven that we're one of the best. And I say one of the best because we have to continue to dominate. If we don't continue to dominate season after season, we can't consider ourselves the best. But for right now, yes, we are, at the top. We're top tier, we're top tier, So we got to do we got to do to stay in position. And the reason why I'm not counting Alabama out also is because you got to think they still have the number 2 recruiting class of 2025. So they still got good guys coming in. Yeah, the guys right now is entering the transfer portal, but you got to think of the guys that they got coming in, man. They got some good guys coming into Alabama, So we can't necessarily count them out. I'm not willing to count them out yet. After next season, I probably will make my decision on if I'm going to count them out or not. But right now, I'm not just going to count them out right now. They just going through a little up and down, due to Nick Saban leaving and them not having the success that they thought they would have, even with Nick Saban gone. So, they just going through a little tough little time right now, and I don't know. Maybe they'll get it together, maybe not. But I'm a UGA fan, so I care less than what people think. But at the same time, with me knowing the standard in the SEC, I'm like, man, I don't want to see them go out that bad. I don't want to see them start looking like Vanderbilt. We can't see them start looking like that, right? We can't see them start looking like Tennessee, right? We can't have them looking like South Carolina and the Florida Gators. Then there won't be really no real competition in the SEC, right? Like I said, then we'll start seeing these off-brand teams in the playoffs and playing for a natty, and then we're not gonna sit there and watch because I know I won't be sitting there watching. I'm not gonna waste my time watching the off-brand team. play in the playoffs and play for a national championship, man. No, I'm not doing that. Nationally, they hate the SEC only because we're a good conference. Yeah, nobody likes the SEC. Nobody likes the SEC. That's why it was so much crying. I don't know if y'all noticed it or were looked into it, but before Texas come over, before Oklahoma came over, when I noticed the crying starting to happen when is the year that we played. Was it 2021 when we played? I ain't good with the years, but I think it was the 2021 season when we played Connecticut. Not Con- Damn, why I'm saying Connecticut. Damn, who was it that we played? Damn, Cincinnati. When we played Cincinnati, that year is when I noticed how many coaches were complaining about not getting their chance and to play for a national championship. And that's when I noticed all the bickering, and I was like, "Wow, these jokers!" And then the talk of teams coming to the SEC. That's when we start hearing that about Texas and Oklahoma, and coming over because they figure they'll get a better chance if they come over. So the crying has been going on. That's been happening. I'm just more so like, okay, bring your ass on, but we gonna break you in. That's what's gonna happen. And Georgia stood on business in breaking Texas in. We stood on business when it came to that. So at the end of the day, you can cry and bicker and beef all you want to, but the facts is in the damn pudding. In the SEC, we're dominant over there. Every team isn't dominant, but for the most part, you're not coming over and think you're gonna come over and bulldog anybody because we are the bulldog. So we do all the bulldogging. You know, we do the bulldogging, not you guys. You're not coming to the SEC and thinking, I wish I could put a video together about all of the teams claiming we want Georgia, we want Georgia, we want Georgia. Lane Kiffin, he's on his high horse right now, and he rightfully so. He definitely beat the dogs. He finally won the big game. So I guess he can kind of chill and sit back because his job is saved. But that's not going to continue to happen. So, and I think Lane Kiffin knows this, that it won't continue to happen. And I don't think Lane Kiffin should be so proud either. Especially due to the amount of the talent level of wide receivers we had. I don't want to make excuses for that game. It is what it is. I don't even want to talk about that game. But Lane Kiffin know what time it is. He know we coming back for blood. I don't think we play them in the regular season next season. We may do. I have to look back at the schedule, but we ready to get that get back. Best believe that. We're ready to get that get back. I'll say that Lane Kiffin will be more to whoever spoke on it as far as the rivalry. I'll say that Ole Miss will be more of a rival to with Georgia, especially after we lost this season, and if we come back and win it next season, if we play them next season, yeah, that would be more of a rival because we already took a loss to them. But Texas, I don't see Texas being a rival just yet. Yeah. Winston said, I have a son in law that's a Bama fan and he's about to jump off the ledge about things are going in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I think a lot of fans are. A lot of fans are depressed about this because it's just like with Georgia fans, the small amount of success we've been having with Kirby Smart, well, it's actually a big amount of success, but the success we've been having with Kirby Smart and we got so spoiled so quick. Alabama has been dominant for years, man. So of course they're gonna be jumping off the ledge, trying to figure it out, trying to, like I'm sick of. It's gonna happen, man. When you get spoiled for so many years, that's gonna happen. Wallace said, "What's going on, bro? What's up, bro?" And we do have Ole Miss at home next season. See, this is what I'm saying. So that go back to what I was saying about the rivalry. So if we ended up beating Ole Miss next season, then I would consider us being a rivalry in this at this point because of the simple fact that they got us this year, and hopefully we'll get them next year. You know, hopefully we'll get them next year. I think so. That's what I tell a lot of people, man. A lot of a lot of fans that I talk to that's fans of other teams. I tell them, man, look, don't get so hyped about how well your defense or offense is playing because at any moment that can change. At any moment that could change. And you got to think if they're playing at a high level, you better know if they're not freshmen for the most part, man, you gotta make sure you can reload, right? So you can have a great defense, like South Carolina have a great defense this season, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to continue to reload because you got to think about if people get hurt and everything else. I don't think people mindset be on a bigger picture. They so glad of what they were able to accomplish in the present season. They're not thinking about players getting hurt. They're not thinking about having depth or anything like that. They just, oh man, we got the best defense. We got the. I'm like, okay, cool. We've had the best defense multiple years, right? And we had to understand that things happen, man. Injuries happen. Guys, go into the draft. So it's hard to continue to reload. It's hard. That's a hard thing. That's why I say Kirby Smart has a difficult job, man. Like real talk, he got a difficult job. People don't realize it, but it's pretty hard, man. You know, it's pretty hard, man. Look like we've been going for an hour right now. Um, yeah, man. Like I say down in the scroll bar, man. If you're a subscriber, if you are a subscriber, you can help the channel by donating to the platform. My Cash App is down below. My Cash App is in my description. Not in my description, but it's on my YouTube channel. But it's $ Major Quee. Like I say, I'm trying to give the best quality. I finally figure out how to lower my CPU, guys. So everything seems to be working fine, working well. Quality still seems to be there. I want to provide the best type of quality and the best type of content. So, with that being said, if you would like to, you can hit the Cash App or send me a super chat, however you like it. Yeah, no, whatever matters. You know what I mean. Um, but yeah, man, what else we talking about, y'all? What else is going on? What else have we been hearing? Let me look back in the chat a little bit. Good. Winston is coming. Just give the sky falling for. Yeah, Shabazz said the sky is falling for Bama. Okay, okay. I don't want us to get our hopes up about that because like I say, man, they still got the number 2 recruiting class of 2025 now. So, that doesn't say everything. That just, it doesn't say everything. But at the same time, they still getting high recruits now. So we can't count them out. I just feel like we can't count them out until we start seeing them lower in the recruiting class or we start seeing them not receive those top recruits. We can't really speak so soon about Alabama. I know a lot of us is enjoying it right now. I know a lot of Georgia fans is enjoying the falling of Alabama, but I don't want to speak so early. All right, we got 28 people in the live, man. Hey, man, hit the like button. You know, hit that like button to get us in that algorithm, to keep this channel growing. Because we do talk about good things. We do go, since I've been going live, I've really been enjoying y'all, man. I've really been enjoying the conversations we've been having. I think these conversations is needed when it comes to, talking about our dogs or information about our dogs. I think a lot of channels and a lot of, podcasts or whatever you want to call them, they do cover Georgia very well, but we actually get to come in and have conversations about a lot of these situations that's going on with Georgia on this channel, and I appreciate everybody that comes in and speak their minds and their opinions about what's actually going on with them Georgia Bulldogs. Because a lot of times we don't get to do that. Like we don't see it a lot. Shout out to Armando TV. He does have a platform where people can go into the chat and really like communicate live, you know what I mean? But it ain't a lot of channels that cover the dogs that allow you to be able to do that. And this is one channel that do. So, keep coming back, man. We gonna be here. We gonna be here. And I also have purchased a new laptop to add to the new addition to the channel so that we can continue to run things smoothly. This laptop right here, I've been having it since 2017, and it's time for a little change, man. It's time for me to, switch it up and make sure that my quality is on a good level, no buffering, no nothing, just smooth level like I was going now. And so yeah, shout out to me for purchasing a new computer, that I'm so ready to get it because it will be here before Christmas. So I'm so ready to get it and get everything set up. I'm just ready at this point because I got a lot of things set up right now. and I definitely need another system to be able to keep things running smoothly. What's going on in the chat? Sorry, I was over on Dog HQ. Nick Chubb broke his foot. Oh man, damn man. Hopefully Nick, dang man, Nick Chubb. He's seeming like and I always say this too, man. A lot of times when it comes to players, man, like, once a player get injured, sometimes I just feel like he will never be the same. You got more of a chance of continuing to be injured after your first injury. He definitely did great for us after he broke his leg when he playing for UGA. But it seemed like the NFL is definitely he's definitely staying injured when it comes to the NFL. So hopefully he make a speedy recovery, man. Because Nick Chubb is a dog, man, and I like to see good things from him. So shout out to Nick Chubb. What do you think about Justin Haynes in the portal? It was between us and Bama. I think he'd be a good addition if ETN goes into the draft. Yeah, I think he would be. I think it's best for us to target Justice Haynes. I don't know why I want to call him Justin, but Justice Haynes. I think it's best for us to target. If we're gonna target somebody when it comes to the running back room, I think it would be good to target him because I feel as if at this point we don't know much about Roderick. We Branson Robinson. He was a guy that I definitely had my high hopes about. Before Nate Frazier, Brian Branson Robinson was the guy for me. He was my favorite running back at the time. But I understand when guys get hurt, they're not the same. The chances of getting hurt again is higher than normal. So that'll be a good look for us if we can swing him, Justice Hayne. It'll be a good look for us. Yeah. Shabazz said Winston Trevor is staying another year. I think so also. I don't see Trevor leaving. Trevor hasn't yeah, I don't see Trevor leaving. Tay said Branson was supposed to be a dog. Yes, he was, man. Yes, he was. He was supposed to be a dog, man. He was supposed to be the next Nick Chubb, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't know if y'all recall seeing his runs, or you can get online, you can get on YouTube right now and go to his highlights and watch his runs. He was supposed to be the next Nick Chubb, in my opinion, but injuries happen. So we had to move on, and luckily we got a guy, Nate Frazier, to come in and be that I always compare him to the past running back. So he reminds me of a Sony Michelle more so, a little shorter, but he does remind me of Sony Michelle. How when it came to Nick Chubb was mostly a guy that followed his blocks, to get through those holes and follow his blocks. Sony Michelle hit the pocket hard. He hit the hole hard, and that's kind of what Nate Frazier does. Like Nate Frazier, he remind me like even like a Dejon Edwards. How he's a little slippery, right? And I just think that Nate Frazier is going to be, something to look after next season. He's going to be somebody to really like root for next season. And him and ETN can stay healthy, man, it's gonna be like a back to back situation, and it's gonna be hard to stop those guys, especially if our offense continue to get better and we continue to get some good guys up front, man. I think that's gonna be a 1-2 punch with ETN and Nate Frazier, man. I believe it'll be a 1-2 punch. I want to see that again, like we saw with Nick Chubb and Sony Michelle. I feel like I want to see that again in Georgia. I think most of us want to see it again. Most of us have been focusing on the pass game so much because we have been a pass first team mainly in the beginning of the season. But now it's time to kind of go back to the traditional way of Georgia football, and that's to run that thing up the gut. That's to make teams tire these teams out, right? So a person like me, I'm waiting for us to get back to that 1-2 punch with ETN and Nate Frazier. Takes that 100%. He definitely give me Nick Chubb vibes, especially once he got in during the last championship run. Yes, yeah, that last championship run. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Winston said Shabazz, that would be definitely great if Robinson can stay healthy. Our running back room will be ridiculous. I believe so. Tay said, I believe Nate has the highest ceiling in the room as of now. He does, and I will agree with that 100%. Um, Michael Knight said Frazier fumbles a lot. Yeah, but that can the thing about this, man, when we speak about running backs and then people come in and start talking about the fumbling, okay, I get it. If you're a Georgia Dog fan, I get your concern when it comes to that. But we can teach him how to hold on to the ball. That's not nothing that we can't teach. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. We talking about RBU. This is RBU. Like we can fix that. Put it like that. That's not nothing that can't be fixed. Certain things like that. Just think about it, right? It can be fixed. Shabazz said, Michael, he is a freshman. He is learning, and gotta give him a chance. Shabazz, yeah. So yeah, Shabazz is right. He's correct. He's a freshman, man, and he's filling some shoes, like some big time shoes, and he's playing to me at a high level. So at the end of the day, we don't. It's gonna be things that he don't do perfect. Like he's not perfect, so we can't criticize him for certain things that we know. Okay, he's a freshman. He's learning. So we all we can say is, well, look, he's learning. He's a freshman, and it can be fixed, and it can. I think so. It can definitely be fixed. And I think next season we will see that change. We will see that change. Wallace said Frazier fumbling issues can be fixed. Definitely. This is what I'm saying. It definitely can be fixed. I don't think this is something that's going to be a problem for us. How many? I mean, it's a lot of running backs that have fumbled the ball. Good running backs that have fumbled the ball. So it's just not. You know, RDB said he is getting experience pay off more later. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. Don't overreact about little stuff like that. That's things that can get fixed. That's not you know that's nothing. It's not like that's an injury or something that no, that's he's a running back. So he knows how to be a running back. You have to be tough to be a running back. So therefore, that's something that they're probably working on. They probably talking to him about it, trying to make sure that he does the right thing whenever he's running, make sure he's tucking the ball better. So yeah, Frazier runs with such violence. I love it. Hey, I was getting ready to say I love it before I even read it. Slow down some and let things happen in front of him. I like but like we say, he's a freshman. Imagine what he'll be next season, next year. Yeah. Running with violence, man. When you say slow it down right after, I don't like that. I don't like him slowing it down. I want him to continue to run with violence. Sometimes you have to make a play out of nowhere. Sometimes you can't always follow your block because as we've seen, sometimes you don't have it. So you have to make plays out of nowhere. You have to do what you got to do to get that yardage. And that's what Nate Frazier seems to be doing. I rarely see Nate Frazier getting hit behind the line of scrimmage because he's gonna get where he's trying to go, and that's what I like about him. I've seen ETN get hit behind the sticks more, way more than Nate Frazier. This ain't no slight to ETN. I'm just saying they're two different style of running, and like you say, he runs with violence. He runs with bad intentions, and that's why he always seemed to get a few yards, even if it's 2 or 3 yards. He still seemed to get it just because of the style of run. Tay say a lot of Nate Frazier fumbles are strips. He just needs to learn how to hold on tighter. Yeah, facts. Yeah, like Michael Knight. I don't know if you're still watching, brother, but these are some good facts that everybody's saying in the live about Nate Frazier. Like, yeah, I know you spoke on the fumbles, but like you said, man, Nate Frazier, all he got to do is hold the ball tighter, man. Like, you can't help sometimes strips. That's gonna happen. That happens all over football, period. So we can't judge him just based on his freshman year on a few strips, and it ain't like he running with the ball and he just drops it. Like if that is what's happening, then yeah, that's a problem. If we got a running back that every time he touch the ball and he go for a run, he drops it, then yes, we definitely have a problem. But if it's a situation where, he it gets strips or he get hit a little too hard, then it is what it is, man. He wants to prove that the coaches that he is ready, But Kirby said that Frazier scares him because he is so fast. He definitely is fast. He always in a hurry. Kirby said, "Slow down, son." Yeah, I mean, if Kirby said it, then it is what it is. But I don't feel like he need to slow down. I feel like he's doing exactly what he needs to do, to get to that next level, which is the NFL. And I like that. I like to know that we got an NFL running back, in our running back room. Shout out to 225 girl, just walked in the live. Last time I seen her, last time I talked to her, I think I was in Armando Black's live, and I shouted her out. But yeah, shout out to 225 girl for just landing your plane. You have just entered the doghouse. Make sure you wipe your feet off and take off your shoes too and kick back, relax, man, because this is what we do over here at the doghouse. Make sure your socks is clean though. We don't want to smell no feet. But yeah, man, this is what we do over here. Winston said nothing like talking ball with the people that know ball. Kudos, everyone. That's facts. That's facts. Because this is the channel right here. I'm trying to build my channel with a bunch of people that actually know football. Not with a bunch of ranting people that just want to rant just to rant. You know what I mean? Let's talk real football. Let's be logical about what's going on field and off field. Not sitting here complaining about stuff that can be fixed. No disrespect to Michael or whatever, but at the end of the day, certain things that people splur out is or spit out is kind of like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's pointless. Things like that can be fixed. But anyway, man, shout out to everybody that's in the chat right now, making things better and making things comfortable and smooth for me. Because at this point, we don't have a lot of content on the dolls, but you guys help a lot when you come in the chat and you talk about different things, different concerns, or different feelings about different players. You know what I mean? How do we feel about Aaron Smith coming back? How do we feel about that? Um, do you guys think that he should come back? Do you guys think that it's pointless for him to come back? What do you guys think? Me personally, I think that it would be good for us with him coming back. He would be. Um, I don't know if I think his eligibility might be exhausted. Is it exhausted? No, no, his eligibility is still good. So, what do we think about that? Do we think that he needs to come back and and be a leader for the dogs, or do we think it's time for him to go ahead and leave and somebody else can step up? What do we think? Do we have super glue for his hands? I don't know, man. Honestly, a lot of people don't like the fact that a lot of us have been talking crazy about Arian. But my thing is, when it comes to me, rather than talk crazy about him, what I would say is we can use him when it comes to experience and leadership. So I'm not necessarily looking for him to stay so that he can be this, because he's been there already for about like 5 years, right? 4 years, right? So it's like we're not looking for anything new out of Aaron Smith at this point. Well, I'm not looking for anything new out of Aaron Smith at this point. I'm just looking for him to continue to, show the new guys the way, and kind of like we don't need him to show them how to catch. We definitely don't need him for that. But always having that leadership. That's what my thing is. I always look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture to me is always leadership and experience. So, and I kind of get that from Kirby. Like, I definitely get that from him. Just always having guys in there or in the wide receiver, whatever room, always having guys that's got experience and that can help out the younger guys. I think him coming back would be good for us in that sense. But seeing something different out of Arian next season, I'm not looking forward to that. If he does do better next season, that'll be a good thing. But if he stays and he doesn't, then it is what it is. At least he'll be a guy in the room that can kind of lead the way for the new guys. 225 girl said he helps on plays like jet sweeps, and he has good self awareness, like knowing to recover fumbles. He just catches with his chest instead of his hands. That's a good take on it, 225 girl. But he's a dog. That's a good take on it. I think a lot of people would agree to what you're saying. But at the same time, we're looking for excellence when it comes to Georgia. uh, and at least excellent catchers. And that's at this point, that's what we're looking for. We're I will speak for most of the dog fans when I say we don't want to look mediocre like that. That time at Georgia is over. Like we've seen that this is the last season that I want to actually see Georgia play mediocre football on offense. I want to see a high-powered offense next season. We will have a running quarterback or a dual threat quarterback next season. We will have a 5-star guy coming into next season. We will have a top 100 guy coming into next season. Regardless if they get their playing time or if they get to start next season, we do have those guys coming in. So at this point, I want to see us be the number one offense in college football at some point. I want to see that. And like I say, this is no discredit to 225 girl, but it is what it is. We can't be great on offense if we keep playing with guys like Aaron Smith. Wallace said, I think Aaron Smith eligibility will be up after this season. Well, I saw something on Dog Nation that said that they had a list of exhausted eligibility players and then the players that could come back. And Aaron Smith was still in the list of guys that could come back. So I'm not quite sure about it. Winston said, I'm a fan of Aaron. He is what he is, 50-50 downfield threat. I don't know, man. I don't know about the downfield threat, but I agree. He is who he is. He is what he is. You right? Michael Knight back in the live. He said, I agree that it can be fixed, but he just losing the ball at the most critical times. Kudos to the defense and the rest of the team keeping his confidence together. Yeah, yeah, man. But yeah, it can be fixed, brother. It can be fixed. Winston said, Aaron has no eligibility. Oh wow. Well, I think Dog Nation got it wrong. When I saw it too, because I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. When I saw it and I saw that they had the exhausted players on one side and the other players on the other side, the guys that could come back, I'm like, wait a minute, it's some guys on here that I assume was gonna leave. Like, it's just a few players. Like I think they got it mixed up a little bit, or I could have it mixed up. I'm not sure, but I'm looking at the exhausted eligibility, and Aaron Smith is not on that list. Malachi Starks is not on that list. Dalen Everett is not on that list. Jalen Walker and Michael Williams is not on that list. So I wonder why they was specific about exhausted eligibility on one side and then I don't know. Anyway, whatever happens, happens. Uh, whatever happens, happens. Aaron May could come back because of the COVID year. That's what I was thinking too. Because of that COVID year, it gives a lot of guys a chance to come back. Yeah, man. Shabazz said he be trying to go upfield before he has the ball. That's where the drops come from. Just look at love it. Hmm. Yeah, man. So, we've been doing good in this live. We still got 25 people in. Everybody seeming like they staying down with the chat. Everybody's still conversing in the chat, which is a good thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? But we've been going for over an hour now. And we've been talking about some good things. We've been talking about some good things. So, and for the ones that just came into the live, I was talking about exhausted eligibility, and I'm gonna go over this little list again. So what I'm seeing is saying that Xavier Trust, his eligibility is exhausted. Dan Jackson, Chaz Chamberlain, Smile Munden, Warren Brinson, Nazir Stackhouse, Kobe Young, Dominic Lovett, and Benjamin Yorsek. Yorsek. So it could be more. It could be more. I'm just going based on what I have, but man, that's just what I'm getting. That's just what I'm getting from Dog Nation. The guys you mentioned have eligibility, but more than likely leaving because of draft status. That could be true. That could be true. That's why we got to continue to recruit at a high level, right, guys? That's why we have to continue to build, right? And that's why we have the number 3 class of 2025 because we're going to continue to recruit at a high level. So regardless of who leaves, we still are in there like swimwear on the beach chair. Shabazz said, Winston, what is Aaron's draft stock? Yeah, what is it? What is Aaron's draft stock? Um, like I said, if Aaron comes back, it is what it is, man. One thing I can agree with Michael or Winston, whoever said it, but one thing I can agree with is he is who he is. I'm not expecting to see no more from Arian Smith, even if he comes back. I just want that leadership and that experience back. That's it. Uh, yeah, that's it. Like I say, maybe he can help build up the new guys and help, encourage the new guys and things like that. But I'm not looking for no more than what he been able to show us these last couple of years, and that's that. No matter what year it is, he's not reliable when it comes to catching footballs, y'all. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. I understand a lot of people want to. Um, still talk highly about him or not want to throw him under the bus, and I don't think I'm throwing him under the bus. I actually think that I'm saying something good. I don't think I'm throwing him under the bus at all. I just feel like we've seen what we was able to see from him, guys, and that's it. We've seen all we can see from Arian Smith. There's no more left to see from Arian Smith at this point. uh, I don't know, man. Cecile Harper, man, you just walking in the door. Sincere said he at work right now. I get off at 8 o'clock. Yeah, we may probably be done by 8 o'clock, but it is what it is. I appreciate you for walking in, man. Um, 225 girl said Arian can take on the leadership role like Kiara Jackson did. Facts, facts. That's all I want to see from him. You know. Sincere said, "What we talking about, bro? We just talking about all of the guys that um, all of the guys that have existed or exhausted eligibility and the guys that are staying. So, I talked about it. You'll see it once you go back and watch the live. I already talked about it already as far as some of the guys that are that dog nation. Let me just say that dog nation is saying that have exhausted eligibility. So, you know, Shabazz, okay. Um, what's this? Melinda Weaver. I have Carson I hear Carson Beck is thinking of coming back. Yeah, man, a lot of people is talking about that. We talk about that a lot on this channel. The last couple of lives that I've been doing, we've talked about that, Belinda, and yeah, there's a lot of talk, but we never know. A lot of people are saying if Gunnar Stockton does well, we probably wouldn't see Carson Beck come back, and a lot of people just don't want to see Carson come back. A lot of people are not sold on Carson as much as I am, but it is what it is. Dog fan man 01. God gifted Arian Smith 2 sets of feet. God gifted Arian 2 sets of feet. Sincere, yeah. When I get off, I'm gonna rewatch the live. Yeah, man, do that, man, because this is a pretty decent live. Everything's been going well. Everybody's in the live chat talking and conversing, and bringing up some good things and some good talking points. 225 girl Shabazz, I could see him being utilized as a PR/KR specialist if he was to go pro. Okay, right, right. I can see that. I don't see I don't see Arian, like I said, I don't want to keep talking about that. It is what it is. We know what we've seen from Arian since he got his start at Georgia. He hasn't been the best type of wide receiver, but he has been decent for us at times. But I think, like I said, it's time to let go of the past and move forward. We have two good guys coming in, plus a 5-star tight end guy coming in, and Ulysses Williams. So it's time to move on, guys. Even if guys do decide to come back, it's time to start looking forward. It's time to start looking ahead, and trying to see who we can who needs to step up and like Nitro is one of the guys that I'm looking at now. Like I'm past looking at guys like Arian Smith. I'm more so gearing my attention towards Nitro, and hopefully we can see him in the playoffs. And hopefully, like I said before in the last live or two, I said, hey man, I would like to see, even if Nitro doesn't you know get targeted as much, I still would love for him to get in to get that experience, to get those big game experience, so that it can resonate over to the next season. I would love to see that. And I think Nitro can be one of those guys that can be reliable, long as he can catch and hold on to the ball. Uh, Sincere said, shaking my, well, no, he said Smith, he knows how to show up in key moments. Yeah, at times, but like I say, man, I'm gonna say it over again. I'm over it. I'm over Arian. Arian hasn't Arian hasn't been the wide receiver I would like him to be, and he don't have to prove to me anything. He don't have to prove me anything, but I'm over it. I want to move on. I want to start seeing things from other guys. Just think, man, we haven't seen any other guys this whole season. We've only seen Dylan Bell, Dominic Lovett, Aaron Smith, Anthony Evans. So it's we coming into a next season, guys. We coming into a new season, guys. So it's time to start seeing what are these newer guys got to offer for Georgia. That's all I'm saying. What do the new guys have to offer? What can they bring to the offense? Because we see what Arian Smith and the rest of the guys can do and what they have done this season, and it's not a whole lot. So it's time to move on, right? In my opinion, it's just time to move on because there's no reason to continue to, um, I don't know. There's no reason to continue to talk about Arian Smith, and I still don't want to give up on Dylan Bell, but he's in that group. He's in that bunch. He's in that category of guys that have been, having butterfingers all season. So if I've seen this all season, I'm more so wanting to see what can the new guys provide for us. But Leonard said, "You think Jalen Walker is gone?" I think so. I think so. But if he doesn't leave, that's great for us. It's great for us. But I think so. But I can see that he has a great relationship with Kirby Smart, so it's a possibility. I think I think his eligibility is not exhaust. I don't think his eligibility is exhausted, but um, yeah, yeah, I think it's possible. You know, yeah, man, I think it's possible, man. Honestly, I think it's possible for him to come back, but 9 times out of 10, we won't see him back. He's gone. 9 times out of 10, he's not gonna stay. But what I'm just saying is that he does have a great relationship with Kirby Smart, and sometimes that's a good thing to note that, hey, man, this guy, one of our top guys on defense, has a great relationship with Kirby Smart. They every time I see them guys together, they're always smiling, and Kirby Smart don't do that for every player. You know, so Sincere said, I think Dylan Bell is giving up and Walker is going into the draft. Yeah, most of us think so. I just try to give hope with the fact that he does come back, but most of us know that a guy like that is gone. Uh, a guy like that is definitely gone. I just hope and I just wish next season we're a whole lot better and for the future. Um, and for the future, hopefully we can start, playing at a higher level so that we can see the next guys up. Because this season, we weren't able to see any new guys really. If you think about it, we weren't really able to see them, at least on the offense. We weren't able to see them. So I just hope that next season will be a better season for us so that we do get this. Because I'm always thinking about the future of Georgia. I'm never stuck in the season. I'm never. I'm. That's just not how I view the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm always looking for the future and who's coming in and who's going to step up that next season. And a lot of times, a lot of years with Georgia, we was able to see that because we had a better offense, so we were able to see what the new guys can provide for us the next season. But this season, we haven't been able to do so. So that's just where my headspace be. I'm just trying to give y'all a little. Um, yeah, man. Everybody in the chat chopping it up. I guess right now you're talking about Jalen Walker and Michael Williams. Sincere said our defensive line is going to be good next season. Our offense. I'm the same way. I can't wait for the future. Yeah, man. Like that's just my mindset. I love to look for the future because a lot of times that's what really matters. And to keep you the standard, you have to look into you have to care about the future, not the present. Because the present, okay, we're already in the present. What are we gonna do next season? And I know a lot of times you can't cross that bridge until you get there, but we can if we do good on offense. I can't really say defense because defense tends to rotate guys regardless of if they're freshmen or not. So I can't really speak for the defense, but as far as the offense, we don't tend to see that much on the offense side of the ball of freshmen getting rotated in and out. So the fact that we really didn't see it at all at this point, I'm like, man, that's what I want to see. I want next season to be a good season on offense so that we be able to see the next guys coming in and what they can offer to the team. 225 saying this year will be Nitro, Sokovie White, turn turn to take over. Time to take over. I'm sorry. You said term. Come on, 225 girl. Time to take over. I'm booking forward. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah. Me too, man. I'm looking forward to it all. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad that I'm glad that next season we got more home games and I'm glad that we don't play as a tough schedule as we did this season because it helps out more. We can rotate guys probably a whole lot more next season if you think about it. We can rotate a lot because of the simple fact that we don't play tough teams early in the season like how we did this season. Like this was not the time to try to see what the freshmen had to offer. Um, and it is what it is. Kirby just got a Kirby just got a raise and an extension. He is locked in for 12 years. Man, Kirby loves Georgia. I talked about this in the last, not the last live, but the live before my last live. I talked about it, man. Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo. I know people don't like to hear me talk about Mike Bobo. People don't like Mike Bobo, but Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo, I feel like they have, um, I feel like they have they feel they have an obligation. Because with them guys being from Georgia, they feel like they have and playing for Georgia, like they feel like they have an obligation to Georgia to make Georgia the best team in the country, and rightfully so. Like I feel like that also. I feel like I'm from Georgia. I have that home team spirit, and I want my guys to be good. So if a guy like Kirby Smart is getting a raise or getting a bonus, and I'm sure that he's gonna work 10 times harder than he did, to continue to keep this thing rolling smooth. I'm probably gonna end the live at about around 8, y'all. That might put me at 2 hours. But I did want to come with some good content. I did want to, chill out with y'all tonight. It's Sunday, the night before work. But I did want to come in and chop it up with y'all, um, and talk about some good things. And we all have been talking about some good things. Jaden is good as gone. Jalen is good as gone. Yeah. Yeah, that's our expectations. That's our expectations of Jalen. So, yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, he's just too good. He's just too good not to. But we'll still be good. Like, no worries. We'll still be good. Long as we get those interior guys, I think that's where I focus at. The interior and also make sure the secondary is good. But those big body guys up front, I'm ready to see what guys we get up front. I'm ready to see that. I think the way we've played this season and how much we were allowing teams to run on us this season, I think Kirby Smart is definitely uh, hit the transfer portal and also focus in very, very hard on that defensive line. That's gonna probably be the biggest thing. I think. Glenn Schumann ain't going nowhere. Wow. Sincere say, I appreciate it for the videos you make and keep up the good work. Go Dogs. Yes, sir. I know you're at work right now just trying to get through your day, and sometimes that's why I do these lives so that I can, talk. Maybe you're looking, watching, or maybe you're just listening, but it's good. I do that from time to time. Certain channels I'll watch just to get through my day, or listen to just to get through my day at work, and I try to provide that same type of vibe so that people can kick back, relax, and listen to the vocals, and hear me speak about them dolls, and converse back and forth in the chat, and get some different opinions about different players and different situations. So yeah, I appreciate you as well, man. We're gonna keep this thing rolling, like I say. I wanted to push for 8, but if not, I'm gonna end it shortly. Got 23 in the live right now. I appreciate all 23 of y'all that checked in, that sitting back, catching this game, getting this game, man, on what we talking about. We're fans, we're not coaches, but we have some good talking points. I think we're logical speaking over here. I think most of us are diehard Georgia Bulldog fans, and I think most of us try to speak logically when it comes to the dogs. Thanks to everyone in the chat, but I have to go back to work at 9. Oh man, until 8. Oh my God, in the morning. Good evening, and go dogs. Sick 'em. Woof woof. Shout out to Shabazz Ali, man. He's about to exit the live chat. Sincere about to head back to work. I mean, everybody's heading back to work, man. Hey, man, shout out to all you guys, man, cause I'm telling you, you helped me. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Once again, if you're a subscriber and you can help the channel, if you're a subscriber, you can help the channel by donating to the platform. My cash app is down below, $ Major Quee, and also you can send me a super chat, man. You know, anything matters. You know what I mean? Anything will help. You know what I mean? So yeah, 225 girl should buy facts, right? Gave us a relevance and consistency. Okay. Yeah. Any donation will help the chat grow. That's all I say. Any donation helps the chat grow. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those beggar channels that's gonna beg you for anything. But I will say please hit the like button. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Entering or exiting if you haven't already. The O line had many injuries and has some dogs coming in next year with our starting center coming back. Okay, good, good. That's good information. Yeah, that's good information. We need all we can get at this point. We need to continue to be the standard, So that's why we built the culture that we built at Georgia so that we can continue to be the standard, right? We don't want to slack off with the culture because the culture that we have at Georgia right now is a pretty good culture. Besides all of the players that have been getting arrested and I mean it is what it is, racing, and I don't know why they do these type of things, but at the end of the day these guys are still kids. They still young guys. They look big and they look strong, but they're still kids. So sometimes they're gonna make childish decisions, right? So we can't hold them to that. It is what it is, right? I think the guys that's been committing the worst crimes at Georgia have been the guys that came from other pro schools that's transferred to Georgia. Not saying all of them, but for the most part, the guys that's done transfer have the um, actual, bad crimes. Racing is one thing. I mean, it can hurt. So people can get hurt racing. People can I get it, but the ones that's been committing these serious crimes have been the guys that transferred into Georgia, right? Oh man, we down to 18 people, man. Yeah, but man, listen, man. I was gonna go to 8, man, but I've been sitting in the chair for over an hour now, y'all. So man, I appreciate everybody that come in the chat, man. Y'all continue to come and vibe with me, man, because I have a good time with y'all, and I'm sure y'all have a good time as well. And we're gonna continue to keep this thing rolling. I'm gonna continue to be providing this good content. You already know I don't gotta keep reminding you to hit the like button when you're entering and when you're exiting. And you can also hit me in my cash app to help the channel grow, or send me a super chat, however you like, whatever is best for you. So until then, man, I'm gonna be out of this thing. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody have a great night and go dogs.